You dated Michael Jackson, you're partying at Studio 54, you're hanging out with Cher.
I was an adult. I didn't.
Before the icon, there was simply a kind young man on Sutton Place. Stephanie Mills witnessed it all. She understood the real reason Michael Jackson preferred the company of children, remembered the whispered moment on the bad set that revealed the man behind the superstar, and watched as painful dreams eventually pulled them apart. These chapters uncover an intimate portrait the cameras never captured. When the most devastating public storms began surrounding Michael Jackson, many people in show business quietly stepped away, choosing personal safety over loyalty. Stephanie Mills was not one of them. She remained steadfast, courageous, and vocal in his defense, offering the world an explanation rooted not in blind admiration but in genuine personal understanding. According to Stephanie, Michael's well-known affection for spending time around children had absolutely nothing sinister behind it. The reason, she believed, was painfully simple. Adults, especially Hollywood power players, industry insiders, and manipulative figures, often arrived carrying selfish agendas, hidden motives, and calculated intentions. Children brought none of that weight. They simply wanted to laugh, play, and exist freely in the moment without judgment or expectation. For someone who had been intensely exploited from the earliest years of his childhood, that innocence represented one of the only genuine and emotionally safe places he had ever known. Stephanie described a deeply affectionate and extraordinarily sensitive soul who had ultimately been wounded by a cynical and unforgiving world. Before we move on, take a look at this disturbing and highly stylized image circulating online. It appears to show a woman resembling Stephanie Mills experiencing an emotional breakdown beneath harsh studio lighting. Beside her, a distorted memory frame appears to show her standing with a young Michael Jackson, as though she is trying to reveal something connected to the photograph. However, the complete story behind the image remains unclear, and we could not verify its authenticity. Fans have created countless theories around it. What do you think? Let us know in the comments. Murmurs on the bad set. Years had passed since their gentle teenage romance quietly faded, yet Michael Jackson never truly forgot the people who had genuinely understood and cared for him. When the time came to assemble the creative team for his legendary Bad short film, he personally reached out and requested that one of Stephanie's close friends handle the choreography. That unusual request eventually brought Stephanie Mills directly to the set, creating an emotionally charged reunion neither of them had fully prepared for. Moving beyond the security barriers and crowds of production workers, Stephanie finally stood face to face with a Michael who looked dramatically, almost unrecognizably different from the young man she had once loved. His appearance had changed significantly, and his position in the world had transformed beyond imagination. Yet when she leaned close and whispered something private and deeply personal into his ear, a quiet reminder of who he truly was beneath everything else, the entire world seemed to disappear for one brief moment. The superstar vanished completely, leaving only the gentle soul she had always known. Sutton Place secrets. Long before the world crowned him the king of pop, Michael Jackson was simply a polite and curious young man trying to understand the enormous city of New York. During the filming of the beloved musical The Wiz, Michael lived in an apartment on Sutton Place, and it was there that he and Stephanie Mills quietly built something genuinely special, far away from camera flashes and the deafening roar of concert crowds. Their life together carried a beautiful sense of normality. Stephanie would stay overnight and attempt to cook meals for him despite openly admitting that she had very little skill in the kitchen. Rather than complain or show disappointment, Michael politely ate whatever she prepared without offering a single word of criticism. They even carried their laundry down to the building's shared basement together like any ordinary young couple. It remains one of the most tender and human portraits of a man the world rarely had the opportunity to truly understand. The tragic reason they parted. Every love story eventually reaches a turning point, and for Michael Jackson and Stephanie Mills, that moment arrived not through anger or betrayal, but through the quiet, unavoidable pull of two completely different dreams. Stephanie was ready to build a future and settle into something permanent, with marriage feeling like the natural next chapter. Michael, however, carried an entirely different hunger. He wanted to travel the world, experience its wonders, and discover everything life could possibly offer before accepting any lasting commitment. Their separation happened in the late 1970s, years before a massive cultural transformation would reshape Michael's world. Following the explosive global success of Thriller and Billie Jean, the music industry increasingly pushed Black artists toward mainstream crossover success. From a distance, Stephanie watched Michael's world fill with unfamiliar faces and a lifestyle completely removed from the quieter life they had once shared. Although their romantic paths had already separated years earlier, she chose to remain true to herself rather than follow him into a world that no longer felt like her own. A courtship without physicality. For decades, the world created an almost unreal image of Michael Jackson, portraying him as someone disconnected from ordinary human emotion and romantic desire. Stephanie Mills challenged that narrative through her vivid and deeply personal memories. She described a young Michael who was confident, quietly self-assured, and naturally charismatic in a way that required no performance. Stephanie openly admitted that she was completely and hopelessly in love with him during their time together, and she even confirmed that he was an excellent kisser. Yet she was equally clear that their relationship never became sexual. Their bond was built on emotional tenderness, youthful affection, and deep mutual respect, with boundaries they consciously maintained. Her candid memories challenged decades of unfair media speculation, offering the world a rare and genuinely moving glimpse into the romantic heart of a young man who would later become one of the most misunderstood figures in modern culture. Diana Ross. Of all the women who crossed paths with Michael Jackson throughout his extraordinary life, none left an influence as deep, lasting, or formative as the incomparable Diana Ross. Their bond began during the earliest and most important years of the Jackson 5, when a wide-eyed young Michael first encountered the glamorous superstar who would quietly reshape his understanding of beauty, artistry, and loyalty. What began as intense admiration gradually developed into something Michael himself publicly described as genuine love through interviews and personal writings. He regarded Diana as one of the most important emotional figures in his life, a feeling that seemingly never disappeared despite time, distance, or changing circumstances. Even as he moved forward into marriages and other relationships, Diana remained a permanent presence within his most private emotional world. His trust endured so completely that he officially named her as the backup guardian of his children in his will, a final and extraordinary symbol of a bond that survived nearly everything. Whitney Houston. There is a particular kind of loneliness that exists only at the very top, a silence that becomes heavier as the crowds grow louder. Both Michael Jackson and Whitney Houston understood that isolation better than almost anyone alive during the late 1980s, and according to people close to them, that shared understanding became the quiet foundation of a deeply private connection. Michael was reportedly captivated by Whitney, drawn to her extraordinary voice, effortless grace, and beauty he found genuinely breathtaking. Away from relentless photographers, they reportedly shared private moments that allowed them to escape the overwhelming realities of their public lives. Some people within Michael's circle later claimed that he had serious hopes of marrying her one day. Yet the enormous demands surrounding two of the biggest careers in music history, combined with the complicated realities of their personal lives, prevented those dreams from becoming something permanent. If those stories are true, music may have lost what could have become one of its greatest love stories. Brooke Shields. Few relationships in Michael Jackson's public life generated as much fascination and genuine warmth as the connection he shared with Brooke Shields during the glittering early years of the 1980s. At a time when Michael was rising toward a level of global fame the world had rarely witnessed, he chose to share some of that spotlight with Brooke, bringing her as his date to major events, including the Grammy Awards, where millions watched them appear together and simply smile. Brooke later remembered their bond with great tenderness, describing a rare mutual understanding that could exist only between two people who had both been thrown into the relentless glare of celebrity from childhood. They understood each other's wounds without needing to explain them. As their romantic closeness eventually softened into a meaningful friendship over the years, Brooke remained one of the most genuinely treasured figures in Michael's emotional life, representing a chapter remembered for warmth, elegance, and sincerity. Madonna. The spring of 1991 produced one of the most exciting and unexpected pairings the entertainment world had ever witnessed when the King of Pop and the undisputed Queen of Pop, Madonna, began a brief but enormously publicized romance that sent the global press into complete chaos. The moment they appear hand in hand on the Academy Awards red carpet, the entire world seemed to stop and stare. Beyond the flashbulbs and breathless headlines, however, two dramatically different personalities were quietly discovering just how incompatible their approaches to life truly were. Madonna was fearless, provocative, and constantly determined to break boundaries, repeatedly encouraging Michael to abandon his polished image and embrace something darker and more rebellious. Michael, however, possessed a deeply rooted sense of dignity, privacy, and traditional elegance that he was unwilling to sacrifice for anyone. Their fascinating experiment eventually faded almost as quickly as it began, but the image of these two extraordinary figures briefly united remains permanently embedded in pop culture history as one of its most unforgettable moments. Lisa Marie Presley. When news exploded in the summer of 1990 that Michael Jackson had married Lisa Marie Presley, the only daughter of rock and roll's eternal king, the world seemed to stop breathing for a moment. It felt almost mythical, the union of two people carrying two of the most legendary surnames in music history. Yet beyond the unbelievable headlines and shocked magazine covers, something genuinely real and deeply human existed between them. Having first crossed paths when they were younger, they reconnected powerfully during the early 1990s, building a relationship in one of the most turbulent periods of Michael's personal and professional life. Lisa Marie became a source of stability and one of his fiercest private defenders, standing beside him through storms that might have destroyed almost anyone else. Their famous kiss at the MTV Video Music Awards remains an unforgettable image. Although their marriage officially ended in divorce in 1996, their emotional and romantic connection reportedly continued afterward, refusing to disappear simply because a legal document declared the relationship over. Debbie Rowe. Not every great love story announces itself with fireworks. Some develop quietly through years of loyal presence during the most difficult and lonely periods of a person's life. Debbie Rowe first entered Michael Jackson's world as a trusted dermatology nurse, helping him manage his skin condition during the 1980s with professionalism and genuine compassion. Over time, that connection developed into something far more significant than an ordinary medical relationship. During some of Michael's most vulnerable private moments, Debbie was simply there, offering steady friendship, warmth, and emotional support without demanding anything in return. After Michael and Lisa Marie separated, Debbie stepped forward quietly but decisively. Their marriage in late 1996 was unconventional by almost every traditional standard, yet the commitment behind it was deeply meaningful. During their union, Debbie gave birth to Michael's two eldest children, Prince and Paris Jackson. After their divorce in 1999, Michael became the primary custodial parent, allowing him to continue living the dream of fatherhood that had meant so much to him. If you have made it this far, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It truly helps us continue bringing you stories like this.
Tatuanil.
Hollywood in the late 1970s was a dazzling and complicated world, and directly at its center stood two extraordinary teenagers whose names were already recognized around the globe. Michael Jackson and Academy Award-winning actress Tatum O'Neal became one of the era's most discussed young pairings, frequently appearing together at glamorous industry events and attracting intense attention from a press desperate for a perfect celebrity romance. Although Tatum later described their connection as largely innocent and sweet, Michael appeared to experience the relationship on a much deeper emotional level. For him, the feelings were intense and meaningful, leaving wounds that remained long after their romance quietly collapsed beneath misunderstandings and relentless career pressures. The heartbreak Michael carried from that period reportedly stayed with him and eventually found expression through his music, becoming associated with the raw emotional sadness audiences heard in She's Out of My Life. Tatiana Thompson. Sometimes the most intense romantic chapters are the ones that burn brightest and end fastest. When model and dancer Tatiana Thompson was selected to play Michael Jackson's love interest in the visually unforgettable short film For the Way You Make Me Feel, few could have predicted how quickly the boundaries between performance and reality would begin to blur. The undeniable chemistry between them on camera appeared to continue beyond the set, developing into a playful and emotionally charged connection behind the scenes of one of music's largest touring productions. Then, during a live performance on the legendary Bad World Tour, Tatiana made a bold and unscripted decision. Breaking from the planned choreography, she kissed Michael on stage in front of thousands of screaming fans. The consequences came quickly. His management reportedly viewed the spontaneous moment as a serious professional violation, and Tatiana was soon removed from the tour. Their passionate and mysterious chapter ended almost as suddenly as it had begun. Naomi Campbell. In 1992, at the creative and commercial height of the Dangerous era, Michael Jackson made a casting choice that immediately captured worldwide attention, selecting supermodel Naomi Campbell as his love interest in the visually striking short film For in the Closet. The result was an electrifying piece of visual art, and the chemistry between these two global icons appeared so intense on screen that many viewers refused to believe it was purely professional. Tabloids launched into a frenzy, examining every look, interaction, and playful exchange during filming as supposed evidence of a secret romance developing behind the scenes. Michael and Naomi appeared comfortable, allowing the speculation to continue, offering playful ambiguity rather than clear answers. Years later, however, Naomi explained that their relationship had never been romantic. What they genuinely shared was mutual admiration, deep respect, and a meaningful friendship that survived far beyond the headlines. Ola Ray. Few pieces of filmed entertainment have ever accomplished what Michael Jackson's Thriller short film achieved in 1983, permanently changing music videos and popular culture in one extraordinary moment. At the center of that legendary production stood Ola Ray, whose warmth and natural chemistry with Michael made their on-screen connection feel completely believable. According to Ola herself, however, there may have been a genuine spark beyond what the cameras captured. She later claimed that a private romance developed between them during filming, growing through personal moments away from the enormous crew and demanding production schedule. Ola remembered their interactions with affection and described spending private time with Michael in his trailer. She openly acknowledged being deeply attracted to him and suggested that the real emotions she experienced helped shape her performance, particularly the famous expressions audiences still recognize during their moonlit scenes together. Shauna Mongetal. In the years following Michael Jackson's death, the world heard countless stories from people who had once moved within the carefully protected circles of his private life. Among the most detailed came from writer and entertainment professional Shauna Mongetal, who publicly claimed that she shared a long and deeply private romantic relationship with the king of pop during the 1990s. Having worked within Michael's professional environment, Shauna had access and proximity that few people outside his closest circle ever experienced. According to her personal accounts, their relationship continued privately for years through secret meetings, intimate conversations, and moments of emotional closeness carefully protected from public attention. Her claims have remained debated among fans and others connected to Michael's legacy, and the full nature of the relationship has never been independently established. Still, her story added another complicated and deeply human dimension to the public image of a man who spent much of his life searching for genuine connection away from cameras. Elizabeth Taylor. Hollywood has produced countless legendary friendships, but few captured public imagination as completely as the extraordinary bond between Michael Jackson and screen icon Elizabeth Taylor. To outsiders, their connection almost seemed designed to create fascination. Two of the most famous and heavily scrutinized people on Earth regularly photographed together, exchanging lavish gifts, celebrating at Neverland Ranch, and openly expressing their deep affection for one another. Predictably, tabloids spent years inventing theories about the nature of their relationship, searching for a simple explanation for something that resisted ordinary labels. Elizabeth loved Michael openly and fiercely, and he returned that loyalty with equal intensity, treating her with extraordinary respect and tenderness. What ultimately existed between them appeared to go beyond conventional definitions, a rare soulmate-like friendship shaped by the shared experience of being consumed by global fame from an early age. Beyoncé. Some admiration runs so deeply that it moves beyond ordinary celebrity appreciation and becomes something closer to genuine human emotion. During the later years of Michael Jackson's life, people around him claimed that he held enormous admiration for Beyoncé Knowles. As her solo career exploded during the early 2000s, Michael reportedly became fascinated by her commanding stage presence, extraordinary discipline, artistry, and beauty. Stories from people around the entertainment industry later suggested that he spoke warmly about her in private and admired the direction of her career. More sensational claims about romantic hopes or marriage have circulated, but those stories remain difficult to verify. What is clear is that Beyoncé, who has consistently described Michael as one of her greatest artistic influences, maintained deep respect for him and publicly honored his impact on her work. Their connection is best remembered through mutual artistic admiration between two performers from different generations whose careers reshaped modern pop performance. Stephanie Mills offered the world something rare, a personal portrait of the man buried beneath decades of headlines and speculation. From ordinary laundry trips to emotional reunions, her memories remind us that behind the global icon was a gentle human being searching for trust, peace, and genuine connection. Which of these stories affected you most? Share your thoughts below. If this journey into Michael Jackson's private world moved you, hit the like button and subscribe. Your support helps us continue telling stories that matter.